In July 2022, Rich and his friend Ron rode the 470 miles across Iowa as part of RAGBRAI. Ron's wife, Chris, and I drove the camper vans as their support drivers. This week, while Rich is riding RAGBRAI, I am driving. In 2019, we bought a used, empty cargo van and turned it into our camper van. We retired in 2021 and have explored from Baja to Canada in our camper van. We're Rich and Robin.
And this is our midlife van. I just finished my first RAGBRAI. Woohoo! It was amazing. Me and 18,000 of my best friends.
As a first-time RAGBRAI support driver, I had no idea what to expect. I knew there was going to be 18,000 riders, but I didn't know how many vehicles would be going from city to city, and it turned out we only experienced one small little backup pulling into a midday meetup town. On day 0, we arrived in Sergeant Bluff. It was 90 degrees and started raining. We were very concerned what the temperature and humidity would be for the week, as we were traveling and sleeping in our camper vans. As it turned out, after a miserable night 1, we had great weather the rest of the week. We are in Sergeant Bluff, Iowa, and this is day 1 of RAGBRAI, and we spent the night last night in this cute little town on this little street, not far from downtown. The night before the ride started, a support driver meeting was held. Though most of the questions that were asked was information we had already known, we were not given much new information. There was a support driver's map that was available on the website before we arrived, and they had copies to hand out as well. Our concern was over signage, and we were told that each town would have signage, but we found the signage to be few and far between. And those signs were usually the size of a 9x11 piece of paper. Support vehicles have a different route from the riders, but the issue we had was the map we had showed the route to drive, but we didn't know how to get to the starting point of the route without driving through where the bikes were riding, in relation to where we stayed the night before. To plan our days, we used a combination of Google Maps and the support vehicle route map given to us. We usually left about an hour behind our husbands, and we met in the meetup towns with enough time to park and walk into town to meet them as they rode in. Two-way radios come in handy as well if you're traveling with a group of support vehicles. So this is Lakeview, so maybe we should find the lake.
That's an idea. It shouldn't be too far away. Station, it looks like it's off to the left.
Oh good, the grocery store is over that way, maybe we'll find it. This is business district, so I'm going to turn here before, there we go, we're going to go this way. We even had time to do some exploring of other small towns in the area. So as we're driving to meet up with the guides on the RAGBRAI, we saw a sign for the world's largest popcorn ball. Let's see if we can find it. Sac City, Iowa, home of the largest popcorn ball. Created in June 2016 at Noble Popcorn. Total weight is 9,000 pounds. We are headed to the popcorn farm because we saw the popcorn ball and got a little hungry. Well, doesn't look like they have a store.
No, not what I was expecting for sure.
The farm doesn't have a farm store, so we're moving on. We usually arrived at the overnight towns prior to our husbands and were able to find adequate parking to camp for the night. So we're lucky to be camped in our van.
Yes, because it
Could be just next to some tents. Just one of, I think, 6 campgrounds for tents. Our little spot in Ida Grove. Not such a quiet night last night here in Pocahontas, Iowa. Our bus across the street ran the generator 24/7, which they still are. They're in a search for a more quiet spot tonight. Traveling in our self-contained van, we were lucky to find overnight parking almost anywhere as we have water, solar for electricity, and a toilet and shower in our camper van. Most people in the overnight towns were more than gracious to have us park in front or near their homes, with some of them offering a hose to fill up our water midway through the week.
Bye. RAGBRAI.
Spent the night in Emmitsburg last night. Found a quiet street to sleep on. Only one day did they arrive before us. It was on a shorter mileage day, but we arrived shortly after them. Our husbands had bought support vehicle passes for $40 and non-rider passes for $35. Also note that if you want a vehicle pass, make sure you purchase one early as there is limited numbers available. When we were at the support vehicle driver meeting, some drivers requested passes and they were sold out. There's also an RV pass available to purchase, but our understanding is that they did not include electricity or water. But all the overnight communities had designated dump stations. We were not sure what was included with the non-rider pass, which cost $35. But in one town, we did need the bracelet to enter the entertainment area. We saw many non-riders visiting the meetup towns and overnight towns without the wristbands. The vehicle pass was needed for parking in the support vehicle parking lots on all the meetup towns, which we only used twice. Other times we found it easier and more convenient parking our vans in other locations. Have a good ride. One of the bonuses of meeting our husbands in the meetup towns was all the great food vendors and local organizations selling food and other items. So good. Okay. Okay, Iowa corn.
Espresso melon for you.
Can we go ride the pony to the post office? What a big cow. Made it to Lansing. Last stop on this tour. On the last day, we were a little worried about ending the route in Lansing. We had heard how small the town was and how little parking they had. We found a main support vehicle parking lot. We took one of their many shuttles to the finish line in town. Okay, photo shoot's over. Get going. Let us know if you have any questions about RAGBRAI or driver support in the comments below.